Hello, everyone. I'm here with my friend Blake Foster, who is a very talented and well rounded musician. I've been playing music with Blake since like 2011 when we had our own band called Madaria. We were like a progressive rock band that he actually played lead guitar for. But since that band broke up, he's been doing his own music, writing and recording it. It's more like electronic based. So we're just going to ask him some questions about his new music and how he composes it and what influenced it. So I'd like to start off by asking you, Blake, what were your early influences to first play guitar and play rock, and how did those change and get you into playing electronic music? So if you could just describe that.
Yeah, so I started playing guitar in about 2008. I was influenced by a lot of classic rock music, kind of typical stuff. I had a lot of influences when I was, a kid growing up. Typical like classic rock like Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, all that stuff. And then I kind of evolved my music taste into different subgenres like progressive rock, electronic music, and like all that stuff. That how can I incorporate like this stuff into like with guitar and like all the stuff that I play now. So I started playing trumpet. I played keyboard and I played guitar, and then eventually I learned like saxophone and stuff. So now I'm kind of playing keyboards and guitar, and that's basically where I'm at now. So
Cool. So what is your new music influenced by, and could you describe like the genre that it is exactly?
yeah, some of my music is influenced by a lot of newer genres called like vaporwave or like synthwave, and then there's also like some jazz influences or like classic rock influences. So it's kind of a melting pot of different genres that use a lot of different instrumentation to kind of create this sort of unique genre that I haven't really I can't really describe in one word what it is, but I think it's pretty interesting to a lot of people. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's all like instrumental, right?
Yeah, so I don't really sing. I'm not a very good singer, so I mean, hopefully that'll change one day. But
Yeah.
I do hope that that someday people will kind of catch on to some of my stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Could you describe just how you compose your music, like from the ground up, like what gives you the inspiration and how you create it from the ground up?
Yeah, so I actually use a lot of like old sequencers and drum machines. I kind of compose that with, I compose my music with a lot of old like vintage equipment, like the stuff behind us. This is a Lin 9000 drum machine, so this is a drum machine from the mid '80s that is actually more than a drum machine. It's actually like a composition tool where I will play one keyboard, and then that keyboard is assigned to a certain channel that I can assign to different keyboards, which composes an entire song, and it plays back, and I can play over it. It sounds like an actual band playing because there's actual instrumentation playing at the same time.
Like a one-man band.
Yeah.
What year is this thing
this
from?
this is from the '80s, and there was only about 1,100 made, and most of them were kind of trashed or don't work anymore.
Wow.
This one was overhauled. It's got a good old floppy disk.
Great.
And and
Cool.
it works completely 100%. It's an amazing tool to use as a musician.
Cool. So I know you've made a lot of albums. What are you on, like your fifth or sixth album or
Yeah,
something
so
like
I
that?
have 5 like illegitimate albums that I have available on Bandcamp, YouTube, and SoundCloud. I will be working on a 5th album. I'm sorry, a 6th album, sometime soon.
Cool.
There's been a couple of setbacks with that. So
Cool.
I'm hoping that I can play a song real quick, and
Yeah.
then we can hear what that sounds like. So this is a clip from something that I'm working on.
Yeah, for sure. Show
Alright,
us
so here
that.
it goes.
Oh, here we go. There it is. Yeah, it's
So,
sweet.
so as you can see, it's there's a lot of jazz elements to it, but it's also electronic at the same time. It's kind of funky.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different stuff that's going on. That's just some stuff I'm working on now.
Yeah.
Now that I have all these creative tools, I can do more with them versus some of the stuff that I've made in the past.
Yeah, I definitely hear the little bit of fusion you got in there. Cool
Yeah.
guitar. And then I noticed you got those orchestra hits in there.
Yeah,
Nice.
those cheesy like '80s like orchestra hits.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
pretty influenced by like 80s electronic stuff, like kind of like the more early stuff rather than like the new stuff that the kids are into these days, like the new EDM. Yeah.
It's kind of few and far between. I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff, and there's a lot of bad stuff, and there's a lot more bad stuff than there's good stuff.
Right.
But once you kind of dive deep in the internet, you will realize that there's a very good amount of good music out there that is more electronic based, that is very enjoyable to listen to. So
Yeah, that's good to hear for someone who's not very into the electronic scene, who is really into jazz and really into funk. This is kind of a good segue into
yeah,
that kind of stuff. I've
it's sort of
noticed.
like a middle finger to a lot of like really crappy produced electronic music that's just so oversaturated.
Right. For
It's,
sure.
it's like this is how you melt the two together to make
Right.
this genre. I don't know.
So who designs your album art? That's a big thing. I noticed
Yeah.
your album art is very colorful. I know you can't see it, but he's going to show some pretty soon here.
Yeah,
you
so
wanna
we'll
try
put that in there. So I actually design my own album artwork. I'm actually I have a bachelor's degree in graphic design.
Great.
Actually, my senior thesis was based off of designing album artwork. So there's a lot more to it. It's kind of how much of an impact album artwork has to a musician, like how important it is to have sort of like a marketing scheme as a musician. So I kind of branded myself and had what I call like a listening station at my senior thesis exhibition.
That's
to kind
cool.
of portray my own music. So yeah.
That's cool. So do you have any plans for this stuff in terms of performing live or?
Yeah, that's a
you
good
know?
question. So,
Yeah.
I do want to perform live more often. I want to make it like a regular thing. I've always been, every single day I'm like, I need to execute this somehow, like in some enjoyable way. So I'm not just like playing it from a computer or,
Right.
bringing thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment to a show and having it break and then,
Right.
having something mess up. It's just,
Yeah.
there's so many like variables with it that's just I don't know how to exactly accomplish it, but I'm hoping that I can figure out a way to do that, and to the point where I can make something, have some sort of live show, even if I get some other musicians involved. So those are my kind of plans for the future, as well as an upcoming album sometime soon.
Cool. I almost forgot to ask you, what artist name do you go by besides Blake Foster? And also, how can we find that music on the internet so people can go look at this
Right.
stuff?
So my moniker is Funkhauser. It's all capitals with a little umlaut over a lowercase o. I know it's kind of specific, but
So could you spell that for us?
yeah. So it's Funkhouser, and
Cool.
then-
Funkhauser,
Yes.
okay.
So this is an interesting name. I actually got that from an alleged last name from my great-great-grandfather. That was actually because my great-grandfather was an immigrant from Germany. So I thought funk and house music. Oh, well, that kind of goes well
Man,
together.
that's the most perfect name. Like,
And I
you
think
lucked out.
it was a great name, I thought. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
perfect.
tried to make it a little bit more unique by putting the little umlaut over the O and kind of messing with the name a little bit.
Right.
So I thought my music is available on Bandcamp, YouTube, and SoundCloud.
Cool.
So look me up, and you can actually download my entire discography for less than $20.
Well, there you go.
If you want to listen to my music, support it, all that fun stuff.
All right, great. Well, yeah, you heard it. So go search Funkhauser on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, and YouTube, and give this dude some listens and buy his music, please. So you heard it. That's Blake Foster. Thank you for listening.